Imagine one of your close friends comes to you and tells you that they want to break up with their partner. As their friend, what would be your role in this situation? Should you try to make peace or support the breakup? The answer to this question can be found in the laws of balanced morality. Let's start with the third law, which states that we should evaluate behavior from the perspective of those directly affected by it. In other words, we should put ourselves in our friends' shoes and consider what is best for them rather than what we think is right or wrong. We should take the time to listen and understand their reasons for wanting to do so. We should not be quick to judge or make assumptions about their relationship without fully understanding their perspective. We should also be mindful that what works for one person may not work for another, and that there may be factors at play that we are not aware of. When advising our friend, we should keep their perspective in mind and encourage them to make a decision that is better for them, rather than what we think is best for them. If they are seeking our advice, we should provide them with honest and objective feedback. While being sensitive to their feelings and needs, we should avoid imposing our own biases or beliefs on them, and instead focus on helping them navigate their own emotions and concerns. Next, let's move on to the second law, which states that we should analyze the specific situation and then decide. Every relationship is different, and the reason for wanting to break up may vary. We should take the time to understand the situation and analyze the pros and cons before making a decision. The answer to this question is not black and white, but rather depends on the specific circumstances. One important factor to consider is the reason for breakup. Is it due to irreconcilable differences, or is it a temporary argument that can be resolved through communication? If it is the latter, it might be helpful to encourage our friend to communicate with their partner and attempt to resolve the issue. However, if the reason for breakup is due to toxic behavior such as emotional abuse or manipulation, it may be necessary to support our friend in their decision to end the relationship. In this scenario, the harm caused by staying in the relationship would outweigh any potential benefits. If staying in the relationship would negatively impact our friend's mental and emotional well-being, it would be immoral to encourage them to continue the relationship. Finally, according to the first law of balanced morality, if we are not sure how to persuade or worry about affecting the relationship between ourselves and our friends, it's better to comfort them instead of giving advice. This means that we should avoid imposing our values, our opinions on our friend, and instead try to understand their perspective and offer emotional support. In this situation, we should listen to our friend and empathize with their feelings. They may be going through a difficult time, and our role as a friend is to offer them a safe space to express their emotions without judgment. There's one thing we need to pay special attention to. When it comes to making decisions, we often tend to choose compromise over separation. However, in many cases, if two people have different personality or worldviews, it's very difficult to change that. Therefore, finding a more compatible partner to achieve happiness is often a better option than trying to change the situation. It's human nature to try to maintain harmony in our relationships. We want to avoid conflict and confrontation, and we want to make compromises to keep the peace. However, when it comes to choosing a life partner, this tendency can be dangerous. If we try to change someone's fundamental personality traits or beliefs, it's likely that we'll be met with resistance, and the relationship may become even more strained. On the other hand, if we recognize that we are not compatible with our partner, it's important to be honest with ourselves and consider separation. This can be a difficult decision, but ultimately, it may be the best choice for both parties. By doing so, we can create a space for finding a more suitable partner who share our values and interests. Of course, every relationship is different, and there may be cases where it's worth trying to work things out. However, we need to be realistic about what we can and cannot change in a person. We should not stay in an unhappy relationship out of fear of being alone or the social stigma associated with divorce or separation. In conclusion, the balanced morality laws provide us with a useful framework for making decisions in situations like this. We should always consider the perspective of those directly affected, analyze the specific situation, and offer the support and comfort to our friends. By doing so, we can ensure that we are making moral decisions that are in the best interest of everyone involved. Thank you for watching, and please share your thoughts in the comments below.